Hey guys, welcome back to my garage with the Ducati Scrambler. I've been asked over the years multiple times to make a video about adjusting the chain on a Ducati Scrambler. I never gave it too much weight because I thought it's a chain to adjust. How hard can it be? Then I took a spin in the forums and I found out that this is a very controversial argument apparently. So here I am. Now for the chit chat, let's get on it. The key points are: turn the wheel until the chain is the tightest. And people seem not to understand that because like, oh, 27 millimeters is not enough. You're gonna break the chain if you jump. Everybody's Evel Knievel apparently with the freaking Scrambler. Everybody's jumping building and school buses. And everybody's afraid that if they follow this at 27 millimeters, they're gonna break the chain. That is not the case, and I'll show you how. 27 millimeter measured the way this says, it's actually about 440 or so millimeters of regular chain slack. On top of that, I personally bottomed out the suspensions in the garage with tie downs and tied as tight as I could until the spring had nothing left in it. And you touch the chain still wiggles a little bit when you do the proper procedure. But before we start everything, this chain has never been cleaned. So I'm gonna get on it, I'm gonna clean it up, catch you guys in a minute. While I clean the chain, I'm obviously looking for sign of wear out or damage. So I look at the chain itself. I also look at the teeth of the rear sprocket. I look at the teeth on the front sprocket. And I'm looking to see that the teeth are not pointy or sharp, that they did not wear out so much. This is not a dirt bike, so there is not gonna wear out at the same pace a dirt bike will. But still, you're there, just take a look at it. Now that the chain is clean, we can start with the procedure. And according to the manual, the first step is make the wheel turn until you find the position where the chain is tightest. The easiest way to do this is engage first gear and push the bike forward. This is the point where the chain is tightest. The second step is set the bike on the side stand. I already have it on the side stand, so I'm good over there. At this point, I need to find out the center over here. And to find out the center, you grab a measuring tape and you go from the center of the front sprocket to the center of the rear sprocket, which is here. And it's about there. And I'm gonna mark it out. Now, I know that is the middle of the chain as per Ducati manual, halfway between the center of the rear sprocket and the center of the front sprocket. At this point, we can keep going. And the manual says, in a few words, push with one finger in this very point down and release. That's it. And at this point, the manual says that from the point of rest on the chain, you measure upward the distance. And the distance is supposed to be between 27 and 29 millimeters. I push up, and there it is. So, in my case, the chain is tensioned properly. But let's see if you need to actually change the setting, what's going on. And then at the end of the video, I'll show you why When you do all the steps, you get 27 millimeters, and if you skip a step, you have 35, 40 millimeters. So you figure out you need to adjust the chain. How are you gonna do that? Well, you need to move the rear wheel back or forward. You can do this on the side stand, there is no need to have those. So what you need to do is, first of all, if you have Evotech bobbins, remove them, because underneath there is the axle nut. Loosen up the axle nut. You do not need to remove it completely. Actually, do not remove it completely, just loosen enough so that the wheel moves back and forth. Ducati actually did it good. This is not all loose willy-nilly. If you even undo the whole axle nut, this thing is not going to move a millimeter. So the only way of moving this thing back and forth is with an 8 millimeter key, and you just need to twist it left or right, just like you would a regular screw. So you twist it, adjust it, the wheel will move back and forth, then you go back, you measure again. Once you reach the tension you actually want on the chain, make sure that both sides are on the same notch. So if you guys see over here, we have those notches, and to make it easy, compare the notches with the flat part. At that point, make sure both sides match, and it's time to tie the axle nut back. The axle nut goes to 145 Newton meters. Newton meters, not foot-pound. And once you tie it up, that's it. You're done. Now let's say you skip the step where you tension the chain properly, or you use a different method, or it doesn't work and it doesn't tension the way it's supposed to be, and then you go there and you push down on the chain. Now the chain is at rest. You put in your measuring tape and you push up, and boom, all of a sudden you have 40 millimeters, 40, it's 11 millimeters more than what you're supposed to have. At that point you're gonna tie it so that it goes to 27 or 29, and the result is way too tight. So skipping one step, that step of putting the bike in gear and tensioning the chain, that will actually screw everything up and give you a false reading. This is with the chain tension. This is with the chain untension. So it's a big difference, and every little step actually counts. I've seen people push down all the way, hold it down, then measure the difference between the bottom and the top while pushing super hard. That's wrong as well. As the manual says, push down with one finger, let it rest, and then from rest position, just push up. And that's it. So that's the way I interpret the manual. I read it in English, I read it in Italian, and that's the only way it makes sense. I've seen on the forum people doing all sorts of things. Oh, leave it in neutral. Oh, no, you need to sacrifice a rooster to the Ducati gods. Oh no, you need to drink espresso as you do it if you want accurate measurement. Oh no, you need to put a biscotti in there, and the correct measurement is 3 biscotti length. People need to relax. The manual is not the clearest, but if you read the sentences one by one, you can do it properly. And if you're in doubt, just take it to the dealer. They're not going to charge you that much. Have them do it for you. If you, talking to you, Evel Knievel, planning to jump buses with the Scrambler, you got the wrong bike. Or at the very least, you need to do a whole bunch of modification to be able to jump a line of buses or helicopters or whatever Grand Canyon you want to jump. This suspension here, it's not made for that. I took the bike off-road, I jumped the bike, I bottomed it out like this, and I was maybe this far up high in the air, so This is not the bike to jump. Other than that, that's it. How do I know that the chain, the way I measured it and the way I adjust it is not too tight when I bottom out? This is what I did. I got a strap, I pass it around the wheel and over the seat. Now, I'm by myself, so it's not gonna quite work, but push and pull. And at a certain point, you're gonna make it so the wheel, it's all the way up. You get your wife, just like I did earlier, or you get your buddies or whatever. You do this, and then you can go back down there, grab the chain, and move it up and down. And make sure it's not super tense. Easy as that. Even better, if you have the time, just remove the shock in the back. The bike will sag all the way down, and then you can check the chain one more time. Remember, when you remove the shock in the back, the bike will go way further than with the shock bottomed out. So keep that into account as well. Now, when it comes to cleaning the chain, there are a billion products out there. When it comes to me, over the year, I found out that most of modern chain, they don't need, how can I put this without having the internet revolt? On a street bike, you do not need to clean the chain as much as everybody says. Most of the modern chains are sealed, so there is no way that the lube, unlike they write on the can, is gonna go in there and get inside the chain and lubricate it and this and that. Find out a chain cleaner. Any chain cleaner will do. This is a BMW chain cleaner, and it's empty now, but because I did the Scrambler with it. I had this for 2 years, yeah, probably 2 years, and I have 5 bikes in the garage. So, and 2 of them are actually their bikes. So I don't clean the chain that much, especially when it comes to the street bikes. When it comes to the lube, in my case, I use the PJ1 Blue Label. This one is a clear and sticky lube. So you spray it on and the chain looks clean and clear. And the reason why you're putting the lube in is not because the lube needs to go inside the links, inside the chain and lubricate. You put lube so that the chain is not as noisy as if it wasn't lubed. You put the lube in because it'll repel the water so that it doesn't rust out. You put the lube on so that the sprockets don't wear out as fast. And that's about it. This concept that people keep saying, you gotta clean it every 100 miles, you gotta clean it every 200 miles, otherwise the bike is gonna explode. It's not really that way. It's a chain. You're going on the street. Now, if it's an adventure bike and you're going in mud, dirt and whatnot, you gotta clean it. But you clean it because mud, dirt and dust actually create friction and are gonna end up wearing out your chain and your sprocket much faster. So there you have it. That's my point of view. Remember, I'm not a professional mechanic. As I've been called multiple times, I'm a Shade 3 mechanic, which I wear the badge with honor, so much so that, by the way, I believe the shelf is actually active right now. So you should be able to see my new t-shirt that says Master Shade 3 Mechanic. Get one of yours. And again, thank you very much to my patrons, because those videos right now have been made possible by them. Chain lube and all. And if you like this video, if you love this video, subscribe. If you don't like what I just did, I'm pretty sure you left a comment already on how unsafe I am and how the bike is gonna explode and how the chain is gonna fling out and kill the guy behind you and all those other terrible scenarios. It is what it is, but if you like what I do, subscribe, it's free. If you do, as I always say, if you don't like free stuff, check out my Patreon, you can pay that way. Other than that, ride on, stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Day 1 million of the pandemic. I start to look like John Travolta in Michael. It's not pretty. It's not pretty. Help. Wear a mask.